Hey guys, it's John. Darren and Leigha with their report from Barcelona will be up in a minute. After that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the feedback I heard from all of you on social media and in our Discord about which WNBA team I should pick to root for, I guess, for this season and potentially going forward. I want to get into that just because that's fun for me, and you guys reached out, so I want to give you credit for that. Before I throw to Darren and Leigha, I know you guys are probably tired of this. Not everyone has been here the whole time. We do have some new people, especially with an episode about nude beaches. I imagine there might be people listening for the very first time. Next week, if you are subscribed to Section 1904 next week, you may realize that you are not getting any new episodes after Monday. That is because you are subscribed to the public/free podcast feed. To get all episodes Monday through Friday, bonus episodes, etc., you need to subscribe. Go to section1904.com and subscribe. You'll get our daily newsletter, Front Row Seat, that gives you all the news and links that you need to get your day started Monday through Friday. You'll get a podcast from Darren and I Monday through Friday. You'll get any blog posts that I write. We have some announcements coming up in the next few weeks about additional writers and podcasters that'll be joining Section 1904. This thing is growing. It's growing fast. We have you guys to thank for it. We're trying to do our best to make this thing sustainable so we can do it forever, so we can kind of change the way that sports is covered by the media in San Diego and maybe even broader than that. But if you are not a paid subscriber, you are not going to get an episode every day anymore after this week. If you are a paid subscriber, you are entitled to those. You just need to make sure you are subscribed to the Section 1904 subscribers only podcast feed. Once you subscribe, you will get an email with your custom instructions for how to listen to the subscribers only feed on your podcast platform of choice. All right. First, Darren and Leigha, and then I'll come back, talk a little WNBA nonsense.
All right, so it is a Friday, and we have left Valencia, took the 2-hour and 20-minute train to Barcelona. I don't know that we did pass Zaragoza, but we are here sitting on the rooftop terrace of our hotel. Within eye shot, we can see Montjuic. We can see some of the hillside houses. We can see some of the great architecture and sights of the city of Barcelona. We have bumped into our friend, native San Diegan Juan Tovar, who greeted us in the lobby of our hotel, which shall remain nameless, but it's a short hop, skip, and jump from Montjuic. And we are on leg 4 of this Spanish adventure. And you guys want to know all about the nude beach, which feels like it was a million years ago. So I am up here with my lovely wife, Leigha. And I did ask her before we started, I said, well, what do you want to say about the nude beach? Since I've talked about it a little bit, but I didn't go into any detail either on Section 1904 or on Ben and Woods. I said, well, what do you want to say about the nude beach? And she said she'd like to just be honest about it all. So I can't get fired. I mean, I guess technically I can. Not that you would put your employment at risk here on a podcast, but I guess we can talk about that. We can also help you get through what I feel like is a tough couple of days, even though we just got into the city of Barcelona and we're staying here Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then we're going to Girona for a couple of days. I do feel like you've already got the Sunday scaries and it's Friday and we're in Barcelona, so I'm going to insist that somebody bring us a Copa del Vino here pretty quickly so that we can get through the next 15, 20 minutes or so. We're hoping that the bar is going to open up here in a couple of minutes. I think it's just before 4 o'clock. It's just about to turn 4 o'clock, so you're going to hear some bells in the background because we're approaching the top of the hour. But fun trip. John Gennaro had questions for you, so I'm going to relay those questions. But am I accurately describing your mindset? As we just got to Barcelona, we're going to the Clásico on Sunday. We're going to see all of our friends. We've got a birthday celebration planned for tonight for one of our friends, Jorge. We have cava tasting tomorrow. We have a catamaran tomorrow night, catamaran cruise. and then El Clasico, and then a couple of days in a place that we've never been before. But am I getting it right? Are you starting to have the Sunday scaries or what?
A little bit of the Sunday scaries, yes. When I noticed my vitamin container was running low, I realized we will sadly be on our way home in another less than a week. And it's just been such an amazing trip so far. I'm just not ready to go home.
Well, that's a good thing that we don't have to. Again, three nights in Barcelona is pretty exciting. We're keeping an eye on the weather report. You know, one of the great things about the Champions League second leg semifinal between Barcelona and Inter Milan is it really had a little bit of everything in that game. A little bit of controversy, a 2-goal lead, and then the lead flip-flop back and forth a little bit, extra time, youth, experience, and a little bit of rain. I always talk about how much I love watching football, soccer. In the rain, I love watching it. I don't know that I'm going to enjoy sitting in the stands. Hopefully we get a better weather report. Let's start, though. John wanted me to ask you about your horseback riding experience, which I would say, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this might be one of the best experiences of your life. You got to ride Friesians for a couple of days. People can look that up. What was so special about this experience as somebody who has been riding horses for decades, who owns a horse? What was so special about this?
I think it's part of it is the horse itself. I mean, they're just really magnificent and amazing horses. Not a lot of people get an opportunity to ride a Friesian stallion. Not only did I ride a 3.5-year-old Friesian stallion that gave me quite a experience, I also got to ride a 5-year-old and a 5-year-old Friesian stallion. They're just very special. The training itself is dressage. It's something that I don't have a lot of experience with. I think it's incredibly elegant. Those horses are royal. The bloodlines are just amazing, and the horse is just so regal and amazing. I really just, it's truly a once in a lifetime experience. I hope it won't be the only time I get to ride them, but riding on the beach and just being in that stable was just really something incredibly special.
Tell us about Friesians, though. What's the deal with the Friesian horse? For people that look and think, all horses are just about the same. Like what's so special? It's for those that have just a surface level understanding, it's the black horse with the long black mane, the long flowy black mane. But what's so special about this breed?
The history, they were used in parades, they were used in fighting. They are just incredibly powerful. It's almost impossible to describe riding and harnessing that power on the beach and in an arena. You just feel it pulsing in your hands and your legs, and they're just really stunning and special.
How did we even find this place? I knew that we were looking to build a trip around El Clasico. That was the original point of this trip, was Sunday, to go to El Clasico. And then, of course, given how much we love traveling in Spain, we started piecing together a trip. I got to admit, I don't even remember how it was that you found this horseback riding experience.
Oh, you can thank the Instagram algorithm of horse riding in Spain, and Orange Blossom Travel organizes this trip. It's 3 days, 2 days of training, some yoga included, and a ride on the beach. It's it was 8 horses, and originally I thought I was going to have to work at the Kentucky Derby weekend, and when that event got canceled, I realized that they had some space open, and I had to submit some riding videos and get approved to join the group.
Why were there no men? Seriously, there were like 7 women who were part of this horseback riding retreat. I was the only +1 there, which, for me is not awkward. I don't feel awkward in a situation like that, but I couldn't think of a good reason why there were no men, why none of these women brought their husbands, or why there were no men attending the retreat.
Well, I think a couple of the girls were too young to have husbands. We had some young girls with us, and the other women, I think, were looking to get away from their husbands. I think there was some discussion about splitting up the responsibilities of the children. So one husband got to go on a scuba diving adventure while the wife gets to go on horseback riding. But yeah, I don't know why there's no guys, because I will say men riding Friesians is actually pretty. The owner, he's male. His family, the De La Cruz family, has had this stable for 30 years in La Rapita, and so I don't know why there's no men riding, because a lot of men do dressage and a lot of men ride Friesians. So I don't know, maybe just too too touchy-feely to be with 7 other men for 3 days straight? I don't know.
I mean, it would never occur to me to go horseback riding with my buddies. You know, you'd plan like a golf trip, you'd plan a sports trip, right? Every year, a group of our friends, a bunch of the dudes all get together and they go on a football trip where they go to a college football game on a Saturday, a pro football game on a Sunday. And they've been doing that for a really, really long time. I don't know anybody that would do this personally, but it does surprise me, even talking to the 2 owners, Sarah and Matilda. They said men barely ever come on this trip. I was like, well, I don't understand why. It looked like a ton of fun. Watching you guys as a group, I think there was about 12 of you, somewhere in that range. Watching you guys as a group, I haven't posted any of these pictures on my Instagram account because this was Leah's thing, but watching you guys as a group was really, like, it was an incredible thing to watch. I don't know if you could put into words what that was like, going up and down the beach on these horses, the times that you spent in the water, but just like full out cantering on the beach in Spain on a Friesian horse. Like, I don't know how you could put that into words that'll make it relatable for a mostly sports radio, male-dominated kind of listenership.
I mean, I don't even know how to put it into words. Even just talking about it right now, my cheeks hurt again from smiling so hard. And, you know, like Darren said, the videos, my cheeks hurt from smiling, the laughter, the emotion, the adrenaline, the power, all of those things. And you're just so happy and thrilled. And I think even a little bit in shock that it's a reality, because you see these videos on Instagram and you're like, oh, look, that's an ad for a trip I'll never be able to go on. And here I am living out my dream. And it just was really special.
And not inexpensive? Worth it?
Oh, absolutely worth it. I mean, for 3 nights in a hotel, food, lots of different classes, and the beach experience itself, I probably would have paid just for that, but everything else on top of it, absolutely worth every penny.
All right, so that was that. So that was one question from John. Now, we just got back from Valencia. We took the train this morning from Valencia. That was our first time there. What do you want to start with? Let's start with the city. Where we stayed, we were talking last night, you know, how to explain this to people in San Diego. And I think the best that we came up with is kind of like Seaport Village, but 1,000 years old. Right? So it's like the touristy part of downtown San Diego. So, you know, you can't walk more than 5 feet without seeing somebody who's touristy, but it's really, really old. So it has that like New Orleans kind of feel where some of the buildings, they've lived. You know, they tell a story. We were staying in this 1,000-year-old house that we talked about on the podcast. Overall thoughts on Valencia?
Love Valencia. It captured my heart and my stomach for sure. The food was insane. I loved where we stayed. I thought it was incredibly easy to get around. All those curvy streets still confuse me a little bit, but love the architecture. I think the people are so genuine and kind. I love that there's an international vibe with a lot of foreigners there. Again, yes, definitely tourists every 5 seconds and the plastic menus, but I think if you take the time to do a little bit of research and walk down some side streets, you can find things that are not touristy that still really give you a feel for the culture of that city.
Okay, people know that you're a sommelier, you work in the wine business. I didn't know anything about Valencian wine at all. Like, knew absolutely nothing. You and I have spent some time wine tasting in Spain. We've been through La Rioja. We've been to Penedès. We've been to, where else have we been? Priorat. So, yeah, we've seen Rias Baches, I think. We spent a little bit of time, or we came close there. San Sebastian. So I knew nothing about Valencian wine, and I will tell you, I did not have high expectations. We tried sherry tasting, and I'm sorry to my man Bob, because I know you're a big sherry guy. I cannot do it, man. I just cannot. It just is not for me. It all tastes like gasoline. I apologize. I know your family's in the business, Robert. I'm so sorry. The Valencian wines, I thought, were ridiculously good. Maybe some of the favorites that I've had here. And I only really drank white wines, but what did we learn about Valencian wines?
Well, and I think we didn't do a ton of research other than to find out wine country was about an hour drive, and booking the winery experiences is not as easy as it is in the U.S. You have to plan far in advance, which we didn't do. And I knew they made white wine and cava, and I think I had an expectation that it was going to be a little sweeter. That was not the case. I thought the wines over-delivered for the price point, even for Spanish wine, which is very, very economical to purchase here. I thought that, bright acidity, really great flavors on the white wines. The cavas that we had last night were great.
And they were from Valencia. Normally you think about cava, we think about a different part of Spain. Again, this is getting kind of dorky. But, I was surprised that they do make a cava in Valencia, and it was delicious.
Yeah, the only reason I knew is because I Googled it before we went. I knew that they specialized in cava and white wine. We had that beautiful red wine at the paella tasting, and I'm forgetting, Bobal. Bobal was the grape. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Pinot Noir. Went great with the paella. I think everything we tasted we liked. I still can't say that Merceguay, the the white wine that they're known for here, but I fell in love with it. Every bottle we had tasted a little different and just was great food wine. Definitely patio pounder.
Yeah, we patio pounder. That's an official term if this is the first time hearing it. We'll be back to Valencia for sure. I think that we definitely said we will be back to Valencia. It still felt like there was a lot to do. It just had a great charm. It had a great vibe. It felt like you were, sometimes around Barcelona you could feel like, am I in Spain? Where am I? But in Valencia, you can definitely feel like they are really, really into the culture and the food and the affordability. I mean, I don't even know how to describe some of the meals that we had. We posted a couple of pictures on the Discord channel of our lunch that day at Roma, I think it was. And what was it? La Roman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roman.
And Roman. And we went to a dinner last night, and I mean, we ordered a nice bottle of wine. It was 14 euro, 15 euro. And we had appetizers, split a couple things. And I think the total bill is 55 euro. 55 euro, which is like 65, 70 maybe, tops. I don't know. I can't do that math. Affordability, food-wise, you and I both can run into some risks when it comes to food, and not to get too gross. Knock on wood, 0 issues so far. The food of Valencia.
The food of Valencia is amazing. Everything I had, I've never had fresher fish. And as somebody from Alaska, don't even have words to describe how fresh that tuna tartare was. The oysters were so perfectly salty. The sardines, I fell in love with those. The eel, which Darren made me order, and I didn't want to do it, but our server insisted. Everything was delicious. And the pasta last night, who knew? A pasta that tasted every bit as good as what we'd had in Italy.
Can you, you just reminded me of something. When we were at the horseback retreat, talking about pulling mussels and clams. We didn't talk about this. I forgot how to say it. Muscularium. If you're ever coming to Spain and you're a fan of oysters and mussels, or if you're just a fan of oysters and mussels and you might never get to Spain, look up Muscularium. You want to describe it? I mean, it's a farm. We had to take a boat to this restaurant, which is in a bay, which is an open water mussel and oyster farm where they literally are pulling your food out of the water after 9 months, I want to say, 9 months, something like that.
9 months for the mussels.
9 months, yeah, go ahead. And like they would just serve you this food and put it on your plate, and it's plucked out of the ocean, or I guess technically it's the sea, but it's plucked out of the water no more than, 100 yards from where we were sitting?
Absolutely. You could see them pulling it up on the ropes and all of the different areas where they farmed. I think it's one of the largest farms. I can't remember how many kilos they said they do a day, but huge supply of oysters and mussels. They tasted so fresh. I felt bad because some of the girls, half of the girls didn't eat oysters and the other half didn't eat mussels. And Darren and I and Monsa and Sarah crushed like 2 plates of mussels and oysters, and everybody else was still hungry. We're like, yeah, now let's go eat a 3-course meal after this.
One of the things people ask me a lot about traveling to Spain is, they don't like tourists there. They don't like foreigners there. And, you always have that in the back of your mind. People have seen some of the news reports about the way tourists have been treated, water guns, right? You can look this sort of stuff up. You and I ran into, again, knock on wood, no problems here whatsoever. There was a little bit of an anti-tourist sentiment expressed via graffiti in Valencia. So we did see a little bit of like tourists go home. The only time I thought we had anybody, I don't want to say that it was tense, but the restaurant that you talked about, there's a really, really local restaurant. We asked somebody who lived in Valencia, somebody who taught us that paella class, Megan from Northern Ireland. We asked her where to go. She said, go to this place. So we went to this place, and we were there. A guy said, where are you from and why are you here? And like, not in a way of, why are you in Valencia? He's like, how did you find this really local restaurant? This is so local. How did you find this place? But other than that, and I don't even know if you felt the same way that I did about that. But people ask all the time, they don't like the tourists over there. They don't like the tourists over there. And part of it is because of the housing and the Airbnb stuff. So, there is a little bit of that. But again, we're going on almost 8-9 days, I want to say. And that was as close as we've come outside of seeing a little bit of graffiti here and there. And it's not about not wanting any tourism. It's about not wanting tourism or prioritizing tourists over people who live here.
I would like it noted that it was a very friendly conversation when he was calling me guapa before he asked why we were here, which was after Darren sat down.
Okay, well, speaking of things that happen when I'm not around, people want to know about the nude beach. So we were in Sitges up until about a week ago, right? We left Sitges on Friday of last week. We landed in Barcelona. We went to Sitges Wednesday, Champions League. Thursday, we talked about going to the beaches, and we noticed that there was a topless beach by our hotel. We did go. I did talk about this a little bit on Ben and Woods. I didn't go into any great detail, but John also said people are asking. They want to know what's going on, what happened, what's the end of the story with the nude beach. So, what's the end of the story with the nude beach?
The end of the story is we went to the nude beach and there was nude people there and it was very warm and sunny. I did already confess this to my mom and dad, so I'm not super concerned about talking about it on the radio. However, I did go topless. Darren did not choose to participate in that. I will say
Whoa. I went topless.
You did go topless. That's true. Darren did keep his shorts on. I will say I feel like I did it shyly. I did not walk topless across the beach. I didn't kind of flaunt it, I guess. But I felt, confident and comfortable to lay there without a top on and get some sun with a 30 sunblock on everywhere.
And I said, I mean, it was cold. It was too cold to go in the water. If I was going to go in the water, I probably would have gone full nude. But I wasn't that water was cold. That was like being back at Imperial Beach minus the sewage. So I wasn't going to go in that water. And then I was like, there's no real reason for me to do this other than just to say I did it. But that didn't stop a lot of other people around us. I wonder, if you could describe the experience. Our first time being on a nude beach, part of me is like, I give a lot of people credit. There were some older people there. There were some people who, are not Greek statue-esque. I give a lot of people credit, that they just went for it. And they just seemed to not really care. People would roll out a blanket right next to you like you were at any one of these beaches in San Diego, and they would just take all their clothes off. And that was that. And some people would walk up and down the beach, and some people maybe would put on a pair of shorts if they were going to the restroom or if they were going to go to the restaurant or whatever. The experience overall, what did you make of the whole scene?
I'm with you. I'm actually really impressed with the confidence and comfortable and just like you said, I don't give a fuck. Truly, they just don't care, and it's completely normal. And I think that American culture of being embarrassed about your body or your sexuality or sex or flaunting it is just, they don't have that here. I mean, we saw two moms with their kids right next to us, and one mom was topless, the other one wasn't. But the kids were playing; they were kicking soccer balls. The guy next to me, rolled out his towel and
rolled out his towel
and took off his clothes and, offered me a beer. I was not going to lie. I was a little uncomfortable having a topless conversation with a guy with no pants on while Darren was in the restroom. But, I mean, it was no big deal. It just wasn't, that was my own internal monologue. I was like, oh my God, Darren's in the bathroom and he's watching this naked guy talk to me on the beach while I'm topless. But it was harmless. There was nothing to it. It's just not a big deal.
I didn't even ask you about that because I saw it happening. I saw it happen. And the guy very dramatically rolled from his left side to his right side, fully nude. And I figured he was trying to strike up a conversation with you, but I didn't even ask about it because I was like, this isn't, what am I going to do? The guy was a little bit older. I want to say, maybe he was 60-ish, somewhere in that range. I don't know that he spoke any English, and our Spanish is better, but it's not great. So, did he just literally roll over, full exposure, and just say, get us un cerveza?
Yes, that is exactly what happened. He literally rolled over, said something about the weather being hot. I think I'm mucho calor. I'm pretty sure he was talking about the weather because I know guapa is a different description. But yeah, it was very casual and honestly not gross. It wasn't, I didn't feel like I was getting hit on. It wasn't some weird conversation. It just was simply, quieres? And I kind of held up my Aperol Spritz. I was like, gracias, pero todo bien. And that was that.
I think I know the answer to the question, but I absolutely would go back.
Oh, 100%. Not only back to Sitges, but yeah, the nude beach too. I mean, it was great. I wish it would have been hotter. I wanted to go in the water, but absolutely loved it. I 100% recommend it if you're there.
A couple of things, just travel hacks here. One of the things that we learned. Now, are we going to be paella people? We almost bought a paella pan because we went to this paella class. I think we used too much salt. I think that was our own analysis of our situation there. Is we put a little too much salt in there. But the actual Valencian paella is chicken and rabbit. Everything else is?
Arroz con cosas.
Arroz con cosas. Rice with things. They just say all that other stuff that you people eat, it's rice with things. And I know many of our friends, our Mexican friends, are very proud of their paella culture. But to them in Valencia, the birthplace of paella, they just call it arroz con cosas. So it's rice with things. So maybe we'll be paella people. I guess there's no real point in lugging a pan back home. We did also learn that there's going to be a transatlantic flight. The first ever transatlantic flight to Valencia is either started or it's starting soon. It's going to be on Air Canada through Montreal, just for whatever that's worth. We flew into Barcelona. We're going to fly out of Barcelona on Wednesday. So just a couple travel hacks there. We did only use Airbnb one time. Our laundry did dry, so we were a little worried about that. Our laundry did dry. We say a lot of great things about living in Spain. Let's do this together. What is the one thing that we absolutely do not like about Spain? 1, 2, 3.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. And I feel like you get this a little worse than I do. What is with the single ply? Everywhere you go. It's just not a thing here, is it? We even tried to go to the grocery store and we couldn't figure this out.
And the pink toilet paper we bought pink toilet paper thinking perhaps it would be softer or 2-ply. It was not. And then it was just weird to have like pink toilet paper.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I'm colorblind. I didn't even notice that, to be honest. And what else? Is there anything else that's,
The dryer. I think the dryer situation is a struggle only because, we're so spoiled and everything has to happen fast. But literally, we were in Valencia. The Airbnb owner messaged me and said, I'm so sorry, it's not a dual washer dryer. However, it's always sunny in Valencia, except right now. So, of course, we picked the 2 days that it rains in Valencia. But I will say that thunder and lightning storm was unbelievable, and it was worth it. Totally fun.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, bottled water, and the affordability stuff. I mean, I can't say it enough. Leigha made a great point this morning because we got up this morning and we hit the market. There's this great market in Valencia, which is right next to our Airbnb. So we went there. We go there every day. We get a cup of coffee and maybe a little pastry and a cup of fruit. And the cup of fruit is the freshest fruit you've ever had. Strawberries, kiwi, pineapple. We never eat pineapple in the U.S. Love the pineapple here. I don't know why that is. I just don't. And it's like €3 for the cup of fruit, and it's less than €1 for the pastry. And you made a great point because this market is filled with some of the freshest meat, freshest fish, vegetables that you can find, and all of it is affordable. When we talk about, and listen, we're not going to sit here and solve all the problems, but making really, really high-quality food affordable for everybody feels like it's a pretty big deal. Feels like that's a really, really... We were saying some of the stuff that we saw today, if we walked in the Whole Foods, it would be a lot of money. And I thought that was just a great point. Maybe the reason why life expectancy is so high here in Spain compared to other countries is because they make really good food affordable for everybody. And it was just a great thing to experience.
Also, our tour guide, Megan, made a really great point about that market. It's the first or second largest market in Spain. And she said, even though it's in a touristy area, the purpose of that market is to make it affordable for the locals because all of the locals shop there. They get their fruits and vegetables and their meats there, and everybody can afford it. And that's where they go. And it's just such a different experience to walk in and see these little grandmas with their cart. She also said, follow the grandmas with the carts around because they know the best. They know the best places to shop at.
They got the best vendors. Yep.
They know the vendors.
All right. I'm going to be on Ben and Woods here in a little bit. You're going to get some cava. Last thing, we got a Clásico coming up on Sunday. Barcelona currently has a 4-point lead over Real Madrid. Disappointing. As entertaining as it was, the Champions League, I still am disappointed about that. But it's a big one on Sunday. It should be Should be a lot of fun. Are you excited for Sunday, for the Classico? This is our second Classico.
Yes, I'm so excited for the Classico, and I'm even more excited to do it with all of our Pena friends. It was really great to do it with just the four of us the other night, even though we didn't quite get to sit next to each other. But the vibe from our Pena, we're going to be hyped up all weekend. We're meeting tonight, and the energy in the city will be, just all weekend. Wine tasting tomorrow in the Catamaran. The energy will just be insane. I can't wait.
All right. Gotta get 3 points coming up on Sunday. All right. Again, with the Padres off yesterday and the SDFC St. Louis match tomorrow, there's not a ton. So I don't know. Maybe people will get something from this or enjoy this, or maybe not. I don't, whatever. Like it, don't like it. It's still free as of today.
Well,
so
thanks for letting me be a guest.
Yes. Well, you've been an outstanding guest. You've been very, very good. But John, I will kick this back to San Diego, and I will talk to you next Monday from Girona, which is just a little bit north of here, about a 40-minute train ride. So we will do it Monday. We'll talk a little bit about the Classico, the Padres over the weekend against the Colorado Avalanche. So reporting from the 8th floor of our hotel, somewhere in the Las Arenas area of Barcelona. Back to John Gennaro.
Okay, we're back. Or I guess I'm back. I'm back. I'm going to make this really, really short. You guys aren't here for this, but some of you are. I heard from some people. I said on the podcast that I was going to be buying the WNBA League Pass and trying to watch a lot of WNBA this year. I've always been very fascinated by the WNBA. I've caught games here and there. The way my TV setup is, I have not really had access to every WNBA game for one team or many teams until this season. So I've kind of decided that the way I like to watch sports is pick one team, root for that team, and watch them play against all the other teams, unless they're not playing, and then I just try and find the best game. So there are, let me count in real time because this is good podcasting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think it's 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 13 WNBA teams. What a weird and random number. But of that 13, I have eliminated 7 from contention. Here are the 6 that remain: the Seattle Storm, the Los Angeles Sparks, the Golden State Valkyries, the New York Liberty, the Chicago Sky, and the Indiana Fever. Some of these are pretty obvious. I guess I should add Dallas on there too. So I've eliminated 6. So Dallas has Paige Beckers. She was the number 1 pick in the draft. One of my favorite college basketball players of all time. That's the appeal there. Indiana, the appeal is watching Caitlin Clark, who appears like she's going to be a transcendent WNBA player. She's kind of taking the league to new heights, which is awesome. The Chicago Sky, they have Haley Van Lith, who I also really enjoyed watching in college, and Angel Reese, who is kind of a controversial basketball player, but I like watching her. The New York Liberty, they're coming off a championship. They have Breanna Stewart. They have Sabrina Ionescu. And they have Ellie the Elephant, which will help because my daughter has said whichever team I pick, she wants to, come along as well. Ellie the Elephant would help with that. The Golden State Valkyries, someone reached out and was like, you should root for the Golden State Valkyries. And I get it to a certain extent. I really like Kate Martin. I've liked Kate Martin since she was at Iowa. I really liked her on Vegas, and I'm probably going to like her on Golden State. I don't know if she's enough for me. I don't know if I want to get in with an expansion team. Oh, yeah, they're the reason that there's an odd number of teams now. I forgot. They're on the list. I don't feel strongly about them holding that spot. The LA Sparks. So this one's interesting. Someone commented either in the Discord or on the comments on our website, and I don't remember which one, that it's okay to root for the LA Sparks because they are the closest WNBA team to San Diego, and therefore this is not, Dodger loving or whatever. Darren and I talked about this a little bit when I started rooting for the Clippers during the start of the NBA playoffs, that some people view rooting for any LA team to be a faux pas. I don't know if I'm there, but I also get it. So as much as I like Cameron Brink, and as much as I like San Diego's own Kelsey Plum, That's kind of a weird one for me. And then a Padres fan who I interact with a lot on social media who lives in Seattle roots for the Seattle Storm and said if I watched the Seattle Storm, then him and I could talk about it. He would have a person to discuss the Seattle Storm with. The Storm are on the list for that reason, and also because I like the idea of trying to pump up basketball, professional basketball in Seattle. The Sonics leaving Seattle is one of the great crimes of modern professional sports. Definitely great crimes of the NBA. Should have never happened. I think Adam Silver has said time and time again, there will eventually be expansion. That expansion is expected to be Seattle and Las Vegas because Seattle deserves to have a team and Las Vegas, I don't know, is going to throw a lot of money at it. So those are my 7. Seattle, LA, Golden State, New York, Chicago, Indiana, Dallas. I don't really know how I'm going to start eliminating them, except I guess I'll just watch them, and the ones that I enjoy the most for whatever reason will stay on the list, and the ones that I don't enjoy will probably get tossed off. I imagine Chicago, I don't know. I'm still not thrilled. They had one of the better seasons last year for a young team, and then they fired their coach, who everyone said was a great coach because, I don't know, they didn't like her personality or whatever. They're kind of, there's 3 or 4 teams on this list of 7 that are on shaky ground. And New York is really far away, so they're on shaky ground. I might just might end up being Dallas or LA, which would be very me for it to end up being those. But we'll see. Thank you to everyone who reached out on social media, on the Discord, in the comments. I think someone maybe even emailed in one of these suggestions. I don't know if I'm going to get Darren to ride along with me on this, but I am going to be paying attention to the WNBA season this year in a way that I don't think I ever have before. And I'm pretty excited about it. So thank you, everyone, for tossing me these suggestions, these ideas. And I hope that my journey here to find a WNBA team ends up being entertaining for all of you. Thank you for a great week. Darren comes back at some point next week. I think it's Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure when he's getting in. I'm sure there will be a day in which he's not here with me or not on the podcast with me. He has a couple guests lined up coming up. I have a couple guests lined up coming up in the next week or two. So we'll try and manage so that there's still at least one episode every single day for our paid subscribers. But thank you again for a great week. Again, make sure you are subscribed to the subscribers only podcast feed if you want all of our episodes going forward. Make sure you go to section 1904 to subscribe if you have not. And I guess until Monday, we're out.